righty. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants should be taking on the 0-16 Arizona Cardinals. And why are the Arizona Cardinals 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there? Anybody? It's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. If anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes. Hey, what's up, Jersey guys? Hey, I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away. Plus, also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever, it's nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. So before we get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, there's the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. I thank you so much. Thank you. Well, got to move the chair for my buddy Randy here. All right, he's here. All right. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. So what do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. Right, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group, and basically I say this in all my videos. Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, and my Facebook page, which I'll go over in just a minute. It's all called the same thing. It's New York Giants, the Gridiron. That way, it dumbs it down for a moron like me. That way, I don't have to think and what's my Facebook page called? What's my group YouTube channel called? It's all called the same thing. It makes it nice and easy for me. All right. We just hit. I think it was yesterday. We just hit the 6,000 member mark in the group. It's doing simply marvelous. Now, basically what I do is once I get done going live here, I'll spend the next couple of hours. I probably put stuff in my Facebook group here on the Facebook page, which I'll go over in just a minute. And now that the season is upon us, it's easy to get a ton of stuff in there every day. So I'm probably getting close to like 20 things in there every day, whether it's I'm sharing an article, it's a post, a picture, a video, something just showing some stats on a ball player, something making fun of the Eagles, the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? So there's a boatload of stuff. And not only do I put stuff in there, but members post stuff in here as well, too. So if you become a member, you can post stuff in there. So between me and the members, there's a boatload every day of stuff going into the group. And then also the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron, but it's a page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one that posts anything in there. And basically it's the same thing. Once I get done going live here, it's about a couple of hours, I put stuff in the group, and I also put stuff in the page too. And it's probably like the same thing. It's probably like close to like 20 things now. The season's here. It's so easy to get stuff to put in there. As I said, it's the same stuff, whether it's a video, a post, a picture, something showing some stats on a ball player. Maybe I'm sharing an article, something that just makes fun of the Cowboys or the Eagles. Once again, those are my personal favorites, right? There's a ton of stuff going in there every day in the page. And I don't commingle them. So basically, the stuff I put in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. I just try to keep them separate. So between the two, if you go to the page, you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member. It's basically 365. If I'm alive and breathing and I have internet access, darn near 365 days a year, there's stuff going in there every day. So there's a boatload, ton of stuff every day going in there. But I say they got my money back guarantee, right? So you can't you can't please everybody, right? So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, all that stuff said and done that way with, I'll tell you what, man. Oh, man. Pow. Woo. Yeah. Man, sure happy the season's here, aren't you? Oh, man. I was going to go live. Well, good. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, they're tying it without Rodgers, huh? Pretty good. Well, I'm sure their defense is obviously going to be huge, but I'm going to tell you what, if Zach Wilson can pull out a win, that would be huge for him going forward. I was going to go live there last night, like in the second half, but I mean, it was like I mean, man, that was just unbelievable. I mean, how we went from like one minute marching down the field, right? Okay, we're down around the 8-yard line. Then you get a false start by Andrew Thomas, and John Michael Schmidt snaps the ball about 35 yards back down there. Dana Jones lands on it, and we're kicking a 75-yard field goal. I'm like, we're just at the 8-yard line. Why are we kicking a 352-yard field goal? And then all of a sudden, and the ball, and you're looking at it from the end zone, and you're seeing it like through the, there's a beautiful picture, through the uprights, and the snap comes back, and he gets the ball, and he puts it, getting ready to put it down. I'm like looking at, why are there like a couple of guys in the Cowboys just standing around the backfield? Like, wow, are we supposed to block them? Why? What's going on there? And I'm saying this myself, even before Gano kicks it. I mean, yeah, he's going to block it. I mean, and then of course it blocks and it bounces conveniently to a Cowboy. He's just standing out over here, and of course he's by the side. And he runs down the sideline. Of course, Then of course on that play, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing. How everything could go right for one team and everything go wrong, but it just simply made it. And of course, I'm hearing is on that play. That's where Andrew Thomas pulled his hamstring, trying to run after the. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, how can you go a whole football game and like not one thing go right for your team? I mean, it unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I mean, that kind of rival, and they brought that up, and I don't know if you watched it, but special teams coach, and the thing is, well, I mean, I'll get back to my next point, but where's the point in time, sometime, where like the coaches are held responsible? I mean, where's the point in time where Coach Johnson, the offensive line, I mean, it's like, it just seemed like it was like looking like to me, like, we marched our offense onto the field, right? Okay, they called the play and they snapped, they clapped their hands, they go up to the line of scrimmage. Michael Schmitz is calling, protection or whatever. He snaps the ball, and Daniel Jones, and then like as the ball's coming back, just before Daniel Jones, before the ball gets his hands, there's like 312 Cowboys in the backfield. I mean, I just want to go to the offensive line. Do you guys know you're supposed to block the guys in front of you? Did that ever occur to you? I mean, how could we be so unprepared? I mean, if there's two, I mean, there's guys, you tip your cap to the Cowboys. They did everything right last year. Absolutely phenomenal. But there's also a point in time where, coaching, Bill Parcells could take, a bunch of guys. He could take Tommy Tupa, right, back in the 90s, because he was their backup emergency quarterback or whatever it was, and they almost won a game with a punter. Okay, that's coaching. So if you got some deficiencies, and they're stunting and this and that and everything like that, coaching can at least alleviate a little bit of that. I'm not saying because, I mean, you got to go out there on the field and, you know, and still perform and all that. But, you know, coaching really could do some help. I mean, just like, is this it? Here we go. Yeah. I mean, what, 7 sacks and 12 quarterback hits. That's 19. I mean, I forgot what the numbers are. I got all these articles up here. I don't even know you want to. I mean, he went back to Paye. Well, Tyrod Taylor was in there too. So apparently we got like, well, actually there was 7 sacks and actually it was 9 of them. 2 of them got called back because of penalties. So actually we got sacked 9 times. You know, where's the point where, I mean, we stunk last year. And we stink this year. So far. It's just one game, though. You know what I mean? You got, you know what I mean? We could look like a totally different team, but I'm just kind of, where is, you know, and like McGahee, where, I mean, we special teams weren't very good last year. We gave up a touchdown against the Lions, which cost us the game. The Jets almost returned another one. I mean, I think the guy ran, he like 20 yards or so, but I think he like stepped out of bounds a little bit, but he like planted his foot and he like cut back across the field, and there was like almost nobody there to I mean, it's just then like I think it was Azudu was supposed to block the guy or something, and like he didn't block, and nobody. I mean, how is the guy in the backfield before the snapper even gets the ball? How I think he jumped over the line, and that was a big blue kickoff live. I think it was. I think they said something along the lines like they saw something. And the guy jumped over, you know what I mean? He jumped over the block or whatever it was because they saw something, and that ain't good. You know, you see, you know what I mean? They're, I mean, obviously, of course, they're looking for you know, what can we do here? You know, they're just staring because, you know, things happen. You know what I mean? Guys move the ball, or guys do this, or they this or that just before the snaps come, and it's certain tendencies and all that. You know, they look at that stuff. You know, they look for anything they can, and they saw something. So the guy jumped over in between the Zudu and whoever it was or something, and, you know, got in the back. It's saying that stuff ain't supposed to happen. Where's the point in time where you know what I mean? Where these coaches start becoming responsible for this? I mean, you know, you got to give, you know, Judge some credit. I mean, you hate him and this, that, and, you know, and I get it. But, you know, he wasn't happy with Colombo. Now, obviously, you know, was Colombo right and Judge, or I'm sorry, was Colombo wrong and Judge was right, or what? I mean, who knows? I mean, because, you know, we see what kind of a product Judge was putting on the field, but he fired Colombo. You know, things weren't, you know, what he was teaching, I guess, his techniques and stuff. I guess Judge was not very happy because they were also like the coach, I think it was the coach of Georgia was like kind of like looking at the way Andrew Thomas was blocking and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, you know, what's he doing there? Yeah, we didn't teach him that. So, you know what I mean? So he got rid of him. You know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Where's the, you know, I mean, Dable's obviously the man in charge and all this stuff and everything, but you know, I mean, has Evan Neal gotten any better? I mean, Glowinski, my God. I mean, was I mean, I don't know, was he paid maybe just to stand still? When they snap the ball, you just stand still. Don't move. Is that what they told him to do? Or something? I mean, it's like, holy cow. Where are we going to, where are these guys? I mean, once again, thankfully, it's only, you know, just one game and this, that, and the other thing. But I am not impressed at all, especially our blocking. I mean, we had a hard time running in preseason. You know, we had maybe I remember Robinson had a nice run, but like running up north and south and all, we had a hard time, you know. And once again, for the 3rd straight game in a row, we had no sacks. I mean, they had 7 sacks. Actually, it was 9, 2 penalties, but, you know, and 12 quarterback hits. I think we had like 3 quarterback hits. I mean, what the hell is going on? I mean, as I said, this kind of rivals the 1995. I remember this one here, the 1995 where it was either the first play of the game, maybe the Cowboys had the ball. I think it was, Aikman calling out the signals, turns around, hands it off to Emmitt Smith. He gets the ball, and the hole was about, now the field's 50 yards wide, 50, whatever it is, right? The hole was literally about 75 yards wide. I think the Giants, there's 11 players on defense. I think 6 of the defensive players were in the 13th row behind the one bench, and the other 5 were in the 78th row on the other bench. The field, I could have literally scored a touchdown on it. I've never seen a hole that big in my life. And he's running. I don't think anybody was in within 30 yards of him. And he was running, and he got to around the 15, 10-yard line, whatever it was, and he was waving to the Giant players or something like that as he was crossing. It was we lost 35-0. Oh, I think it was Monday night. That was just the thing with that one. Let me pull it. See, at least here you can kind of, it's as horrible as this one was. The Cowboys only had 265 yards. We had 171. But the fact we lost, what did we lose? If I can find him here, we lost almost 50 yards on sacks. So if you figure that, we had almost, without the sacks, we had about 220 yards. It was absolutely unbelievably pathetic. But the Cowboys only had 265 yards. So, obviously with all the turnovers, that was huge. But, in that game there, in the Monday night game, the first one there, Emmitt Smith scored 4 rushing touchdowns. Cowboys had 461 yards. The Cowboys had 232 yards rushing, 229 yards passing, 461 yards. We only had 211 yards. We ran the ball 20 times for 65 yards. Obviously that was the Cowboys' third Super Bowl in the 4 years is the 1995 season. That one, in 95, that was a real beatdown because we lost 35-0 on the scoreboard. And in the yardage, the Cowboys had 250 more yards, total yards. And we only had 1 turnover. And the Cowboys had 1 turnover. So it wasn't turnovers. Last night was just a bunch of mistakes. The block field goal and just being outplayed and stuff like that. But the one on the Monday night game in 1995, that was a brutal beatdown, brutal. But this one wasn't much better either. But thankfully, it's just one game. So also, it's one nice thing is because it does kind of show you, I in the group there, I saw a picture of somebody took a picture of Joe Shane, and he's like, you can just see him staring down at that. He was, obviously not very happy. But it goes to show you, we still got a little ways to go. But also the importance of, the trenches, the battle in the trench. We got Sexy, Dexy, Little Line. We got Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau. And as I said, what the hell was it? Nope. Okay, we had no sacks for the 3rd straight game, and we had 3 quarterback hits. Right? Johnson should have been. But where's the? But that's what I'm saying. It's not like it didn't happen last year. We had problems last year, and especially the offensive line. When did the offensive line ever look good? It's unbelievable. I said, even during the preseason, we looked horrible. DeVito, he was running for his life the whole freaking time. Every day he dropped back to pass, and it'd be 7 guys. He's ducking guys, and thankfully, because he's such a good athlete, the 3rd, 4th, and 19th stringers for the other teams, their defense, and they're not going to maybe make the team. They're maybe not that good because of that phenomenal of an athlete. They probably maybe a 1st stringer. So he's ducking and dodging and all this. How many times do you see DeVito back there just running for his freaking life? Out there scrambling out to the one side because there's 37 guys on defense in the backfield ready to rip his head off. So he's got to run out for his life, throwing the ball on the run. And we had the hardest time running the ball north and south. Preseason stunk. Last season stunk. Last night, it's horrible. What is he teaching these guys? I mean, and then the fact that, he's going to, Evan Neal is going to somebody else to, in the offseason. I can understand that, somebody who's really, but our guy can't teach him stuff like that. And and he still looks horrible. And Glowinski, it's just, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. We got a first round tackle. We got another first round tackle. We got a second round tackle. If you can put a Zudu in there, we got a third round guard. It's like, and we're just, we're like turnstiles. It's just unbelievable. Daniel Jones can't be Mr. Innocent either. Because he missed some guys who were open. I don't know if he was shell shocked, which could possibly happen, but you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to stand in there and take your lumps, I'm sure, but I'm sure possibly maybe some of them who shell shocked, but there were times where there may be some guys, if you would look around, who were open. The second interception was not a thing of beauty either, so he's not Mr. Innocent, but some of it certainly was on him. But then, like, how much of it was it to the fact that he's running for his life the whole time? Actually, you figure what? 21, right? 21, 9 sacks. 2 got taken away from penalties. I get it, but he got sacked 9 times. 12 quarterback hits. So, I don't know with the 12 quarterback hits if we got hit and he all landed on the ground after the hit, or they just came in and hit him or whatever. But, he got hit 21 times, 9 sacks, I think his record was 8. So actually he did get sacked more than his record, but, most time he ever got sacked was 8. But, so he did get sacked, but more than that, but 2 of them came back on penalty, but still, it's just, and if you look, what do we got here? How many times he threw the ball? It wasn't like he was back there 72 times. 28 times. You figure, let's say just to say the 7 sacks. Okay. So he was back there at least, you figure 35 times he went back there, probably even more because some of them he ran. Right? Maybe they weren't out of design. He's dropping back to pass. They're leaving open a hole, and he takes off. So he dropped back maybe 40 times or so, whatever it was, 40, 41. But, out of the 40, 41, 42 times or whatever, right, he got sacked 9 times and got hit 12. Holy cow. Absolutely unbelievable. Saquon 12 times for 51 yards. He had an 18-yard run, right? So that means other than that, he ran the ball 11 times for 33 yards. And then of course, then the one problem is what wound up happening was that, you want to try to keep playing your games. Dan Marino couldn't have functioned. No, nobody could. But the problem is you want to keep playing your game, but when it's 26-0 at halftime, that's 4 scores. It's not like when there's 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter, you're down 20. Hey, let's establish the run. Let's keep handling it. So then everything just starts compounding and getting worse and worse and worse, right? So they know he's dropping back to pass, right? And so they can just pin their ears back and just at the snap, just take off after, So they know what you're doing. It makes it even worse. It was just such a shame because, the first drive, at least they got down the field, and they got down, I think it was the 8-yard line, and then all of a sudden, all heck broke loose. Just unbelievable. It was just like one thing after the other. One thing after the freaking other. Then, of course, you got, which you're not going to find. You won't find out nothing until Wednesday. Where we at there? With Andrew Thomas. Right? Yeah, this is just The 2022 second team All-Pro tackle suffered a hamstring injury. Thomas reportedly suffered the injury on the blocked field goal. So basically, that was I don't know what was it? Was it 5? It was like 8-9 minutes left to go in the first quarter. So the whole rest of the game, he had a hamstring injury until he got taken out. Because then they put Parrott in there, and he got injured. Then they had to put a Zudu over there, I think it was. Zudu played tackle in college, but not in the pros here so far. And clearly did not play to his usual standards Sunday night. Thomas was also the only Giant offensive lineman not to complete the game, playing only 53 of 70 offensive snaps. Dable said he fought through. Instead of Thomas, I think he had a little bit of a hammy going in there. So maybe he had a little hammy issue going into the game. Thomas will be undergoing an MRI today. The thing is that they were talking about they were talking to Dable, about anything going on with Tom. And he said, yeah, I'll let you know on Wednesday. So that's, I guess, the first injury statement or whatever's got to come out on Wednesday. So we don't know. I mean, it's that same thing with Graham Gano got cleated. Parrott hurt himself. Andrew Thomas with a hamstring. And then of course, then the other thing is that the Cowboys were on the offensive line were dinged up. The one tackle didn't play. Tyron Smith, I think he was a little banged up or whatever. And we still couldn't get in 3 quarterback hits. I mean, let's see. What do we got over the score? Jets taking a lead, man, 16-13. Zach Wilson mania, right? It's going to be sweeping the nation. He'll be the most after this. If he wins tonight, it'll be his jersey. Will be the most bought jersey in all of sports. I mean, they had 50. The Cowboys had 55 plays, 265 total yards, and they wound up with 265 yards and they had 40 points. But just we had 12 drives and they only had 9. Blocked field goal for a touchdown, and the Giants punted, and then one of their drive, the interception touchdown. They had a couple of nice drives in the first half. The Cowboys, they just seemed to do enough just to keep the chains moving. Then the interception. Then 5 plays later, they had another touchdown. And then of course we missed a field goal. It's just another fumble. One play, 24 yards of fumble. Just unbelievable. Absolutely. Basically, whatever could go wrong did go wrong for the Giants. Some of these stats I saw. Let me see here. I got on this here. It was Big Blue. Historical bad. Wait, let's see here. These numbers were just historical. Let me see this here. Nope, that's not it. Nah. This loss was just absolutely horrible. The amount of times that Daniel Jones got pressured. I think it was like 2 out of every 3 times he went back to pass, it was like a pressure on him. It was just, yeah. There was something here I saw. It was something about absolutely. Can't find it. Maybe I'll find it tomorrow. But as bad as they were, it was just simply absolutely amazing. Let's see. Jones was sacked 7 times, 9 if you count the 2 nullified by penalties, and hit 12 times as he spent most of the evening running for his life. If you consider that Jones and Giants lost 47 yards from sacks, that means the Giants passing game netted just 57 yards and a lost cause. Unbelievable. The offensive line, terrible. Head coach Brian Daboll might have settled on a starting offensive line, but the same old problems continued from last year. As I said, once again, when is the coaching, have to take some responsibility from this. I mean, special teams. Adding to this week's disaster, Joshua Zudu missed a block on kicker Graham Gano's first field goal attempt of the night. That block kick returned for a 58-yard touchdown. You give up 7 on special teams, and you give up 7 on offense, and that's 14 points right there. And a field goal, they missed the extra point, but Daboll said it was 16 points early. You're still competing, but just could never really string it together in any area. Gano, normally Mr. Reliable, rushed his lone scoring attempt of the night, a 36-yard field goal attempt toward the end of the first half, which he pushed wide right. The return game. Giants didn't return any of the 8 kickoffs this week, all of which went for touchbacks. And rookie punt returner Eric Gray had 1 punt return opportunity for 7 yards. The loss wasn't solely on the special teams. The unit did nothing to help the cause. Coaching. This is from Sports Illustrated. Sorry, but there's no way to absolve the coaching staff of this one. None. Simply put, this Giants team didn't look remotely close to being ready to compete, and that is on the coaching staff. The Giants were so concerned with keeping their starters healthy all summer long, they limited their live game reps. And boy, did it show. But, see, with this, you hear people, you hear the guys talking about, 16-16. Buffalo tied it back up. Oh, with 2 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Oh, looks like we're going for overtime. But, you hear so many people, talking about putting the starters in there in preseason, especially like these media people. It's like it's really amazing. Like they just have nothing. They have to complain about something. So if they put the starters in there for a long time, the media people complain, "What are you putting the starters in there for? You're going to get hurt. What's wrong with you? We stupid, So then when they don't play the starters, and because then they don't have, they're not synced together and nothing like that because they don't have many reps in a game, right? So then it transfers over into the regular season. Then the media people are like, "What are you doing? What are you, stupid? How come you didn't play the starters in preseason?" It just simply made. I don't even, honest to God, I'm not even sure. I think Schmelp. I think he was talking about one of the teams. I thought he might have even said Dallas. They didn't even play their starters at all in preseason. I don't. If they did, they didn't play much. It's not like the Cowboys had their starters in there for 50% of the snaps and nothing. And the Cowboys turned out pretty good. They didn't look too bad at all. But it's the media people. They're really, really comical. Then I got this one here. This is from Big Blue View. You got the Kudos and Wet Woolies review. Usually this guy from Ed Valentine, usually there's a bunch of kudos, meaning, good job, guy. And then there's some wet woolies, meaning some people didn't do very good. But here it is, all just wet woolies. Nothing but bad stuff. Wet woolies go to the offensive line. Terrible, overmatched, helpless to give Daniel Jones any chance at all. Jones was sacked 7 times and at least once. Oh, he had 2 sacks nullified by penalty. He was hit a dozen times. He ran 13 times, and the overwhelming majority of those came when he was desperately trying to avoid the relentless Dallas pass rush. It was just unbelievable. Not a single Giants offensive line was above reproach. Andrew Thomas had a devastating false start that killed the momentum of the Giants' first drive. Yep. Well, that's because he had Micah Parsons over him. And it was the beginning of a night filled with an unbelievable number of mistakes. He also had a holding penalty. Thomas did not play up to his usual standard. Well, that's because he had probably had the hamstring issue going on there. Says, though the hamstring injury he apparently suffered likely had something to do with it. Oh, I'm sure it did. Rookie center John Michael Schmitz botched the snap. I mean, jeez. I don't know if the ball was wet, and that's what caused the problem. But Schmitz seemed unsteady snapping the ball all night as Jones had to perform gymnastics to catch a few snaps. Right tackle Evan Neal had a rough night, not providing much optimism as he tries to rebound from a rough rookie season. Guards Ben Bredesen and Mark Lewinsky didn't do much to slow down the pressure either. I mean, Lewinsky was absolutely horrible. Tomorrow night, I'm going to go over I'm going to go to PFF. I'm going to go there, get their player and team grades, and we'll see how all these players graded out. And I'll bet you Lewinsky probably horrible. Did the decision to rotate Bredesen, Lewinsky, and Azudu all the way through training camp hurt that line's cohesion? No. Was this just a difficult night against a defense that could pin its ears back and rush Jones because of the big early lead? Dallas earned, is the offensive line just not that good? Well, how about the coaching once again? I don't know, but this was an awful beginning. And he's got Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, I said above the question, quarterback had no chance to have a successful night. The first interception, Bland's pick 6, wasn't his fault. It wasn't Saquon Barkley's fault. Trevon Diggs just made a great play, knocking the ball from Barkley just before he could secure it. It was one of those bang plays. You know, the timing favored the Cowboys. You know, he just got in there, knocked the ball out. And of course, there's a Cowboy right there to get the ball and run it back for, you know what I mean? So Jones obviously was rattled. The second interception throwing across his body while almost out of bounds was a desperation throw that never should have been made. Jones had a couple of other throws he probably should have been intercepted. It's hard to blame him since you can probably count the times he could actually step up properly in the pocket to throw on one hand due to the poorest pass protection, but Jones obviously lost his composure in the face of the pressure. The offense, the Giants were charged with five fumbles. 5. Whew. Though they only lost 1, thankfully. Jones was intercepted twice. The Giants got shut out in the second half. The Giants never crossed the 50-yard line in 5 possessions. I mean, just freaking unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It takes me back to like the 70s when our offense was unbelievable. Pathetic. The wide receivers caught a total of 5 passes for 41 yards, though a lot of that isn't their fault. You can't throw to a wide receiver when the quarterback barely has time to catch the snap. Yep. Special teams. Yikes. A blocked field goal that turned into a 58-yard touchdown return on the Giants' first drive on X, on Twitter. Former Giants kicker Lawrence Tynes pinned the blame on offensive lineman Joshua Azudu for missing a block. Later, Graham Gano stunningly missed a 36-yard field goal. Turns out Gano was kicking in pain after getting cleated in the kicking foot after the blocked field goal attempt. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable. So on the blocked field goal attempt, we give up 7 points. Our kicker gets his foot stepped on, and our one of the greatest offensive linemen the Giants have ever had in their history pulls a hamstring. Just unfreaking believable. Just kind of like reminds you like when Saquon Barkley, remember a couple of years ago in Dallas, he's running across the middle. Daniel Jones, I think, was throwing the ball to him, sailed over his head. He's kind of like looking at the ball, flying over his head, and he steps on a Cowboy player and twists his ankle, and he winds up missing a bunch of games. Just absolutely freaking unbelievable. The luck is just unbelievable. The defense, where was the pass rush? I mean, the Giants did not get a sack on Dak. It was the third game in a row. Not on Dak Prescott, because last year the first game was against Cooper Rush. But 3 games in a row, we haven't got a sack on the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. 3 freaking games in a row. They haven't sacked the Dallas Cowboys now since 2021 season. They have no sacks against Dallas in the last 3 games, while the Cowboys have had 15. The Cowboys punted just twice in 9 possessions, scoring 6 times and turning the ball over on downs in their final possession in the closing seconds. The secondary had a tough night. Rookie Trey Hawkins committed 2 penalties, a 37-yard pass interference, and a hold. Tay Banks, he played okay, though. Banks wasn't too bad, but suffered cramps, and he didn't play in the second half. Adoree Jackson appeared to get picked off on a 49-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb, which is quite possible. The Giants never really came close to making any type of a big stop of game-altering play. No, nope. Wink Martindale talked recently about the defense of having the potential to be one of the best in the league. It certainly didn't look that way on Sunday night. But I mean, once again, they only gave up 265 yards. Yeah. Brian Dable. Yeah. Anyone who had been reading Big Blue View for a while knows I hate putting coaches in the cooties and wet willies. When a team opens a season playing like that, though, you have to question pretty much every decision made by Dable and his staff leading up to the game. Did they make a mistake not playing starters more in a preseason? Well, I said that. I didn't pay no attention to that. Jones played one series all preseason. Yeah, but you got these guys in the press and whatever they were there. If you put him out there too much, they'd argue, what do you put him out there to? He's going to get injured. You know, so if you put a starter out there in preseason, they get injured. What are you doing? What are you, stupid? Putting somebody a starter in preseason. What are you waiting? He got injured. Man, you're stupid. But then when the regular season rolls around, you don't put them in there in the preseason. Like, what are you, stupid? You didn't put them in the preseason. Man, what are you, stupid? You know what I mean? I hate these people. I don't know. I just know when a team that appears to have an improved roster plays that badly, a game when they were embarrassingly inept in every phase, that falls at the feet of the head coach. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have him ready to play. The Giants even wasted a pair of timeouts in the first 12 minutes. Yeah, yep. I mean, what an embarrassment there. Dable also had to be criticized for losing sight of the big picture, not getting Jones out of the game long before he did. Dable said after the game he kept Jones out there, hoping the Giants would put together one good confidence-building scoring drive. The only thing was going to happen with Jones continuing to play was that Jones was going to get hurt. Thankfully, he escaped harm. Did Dable not see that Jones had no chance to make that happen? I tried to say this in my postgame things I think on, but at 2:30 at night might not have clearly made the point on his schedule. There is one loss. It's thankfully there's 16 more games, right? In reality, though, it was much more than that. This was a huge game for the Giants. They entered the game having lost 11 of 12 to the Cowboys. Well, now it's 12 out of 13 and 12 out of 14 to the Eagles. So basically what? We've lost, 24 out of the last 27 games to the Eagles and the Cowboys. 24 out of the last 27 games to those two teams. After an offseason of optimism, this was the Giants' chance to show that they had made progress, that they were moving toward making the NFC East a three-headed monster at the top. Instead, the Giants were embarrassingly non-competitive. It was obvious that the gap between the Giants and the league's top teams is still massive. Well, I still feel good about the long-term direction of the Giants with Dable and Joe Shane in charge. The big thing the Giants need to do, though, is to prove that they can be competitive with the best teams in their own division. Well, I mean, which is true, you know. I mean, you know, this is just one game. They have, obviously 16 other games to go. Thankfully, it's not all doom and gloom. We have the Cardinals coming up, which can be a winnable game. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but it can be a winnable game. You know, I saw a couple of stats here. One of them, I mean, obviously this is going back. With the Giants. I mean, obviously they didn't get shut out. Okay, but in 2007, right? They started. What do we got? All right, there you go. Good old Jets. There you go. Nice. Oh, 65-yard punt return. Man, that had to be exciting. I bet you the doink in a game-time 50-yard field goal. Wow. Nice. Well, good for you. I'll tell you what. Zach Wilson mania. Who needs Russ? Who needs Aaron Rodgers, right? Huh? We don't need no Aaron stinking Rodgers, right? Well, big win for the Jets. Very good. Good for them. We got this is also year 2 of a rebuild. Oh, yeah. But I mean, I was going to say, like back in 2007. Now, of course, we didn't get shut out, I guess. But the first two games, we gave up 80 points. We gave up 45 points. Actually, my son and I were in Dallas watching the game. It was a good game. We lost 45-35 to the Cowboys. Very exciting. I didn't go home happy, but my son did because he was a Cowboy fan. But then the next week we lost 35-13 to the Brett Favre and the Packers. Actually, it was 14-13 going into the fourth quarter. And the Packers scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to blow the game open. But we gave up 80 points. And then I forgot what I got to look here. This one here. Let's see. It was we were losing 17-3 or 7. Let's see here. To the Washington Redskins. A half. Let's see here. And we shut them out. I think we shut them out in the second half. What the hell was the score here? Box score. Well, maybe it was 17-3. Yeah, we were losing 17-3 to the Redskins. So basically, we gave up like 97 points on defense in the first 2.5 games of the season, 2007, when we won the Super Bowl. But then we scored 3 touchdowns in the second half. We had the goal line stand right at the end of the game, the final minute. We had a great goal line stand to keep them out of the end zone. And from that helped propel us, right? So sometimes it's a goal line stand, sometimes it's a touchdown, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. But I said we were down 17, we were 0-2. We gave up 80 points in the first 2 games, and we're down 17-3 on the road to the Redskins in game 3. Things aren't looking good. Right, we're staring 0-3 right in the face. Now, if you're 0-3, the chances of you making the playoffs is not very good. The chances go down quite a bit. I grew up in a family of Washington, But I said your chances go down. So we were down, not looking too good. But we scored. What was it? Was it Robin? Let's see here. Reuben Jones. Is that what it said? Reuben Jones had 2 touchdowns, and Plaxico Burress with 5 minutes and 32 seconds left to go. So the game was tied up. Reuben Jones scored a touchdown in the third. Reuben Jones scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter to tie it up at 17. And with 5.5 minutes to go, Plaxico Burress scored a 33-yard touchdown pass from Eli Manning to put the Giants up 24-17. So, the 3 touchdowns in the second were freaking huge. We only scored a field goal in the first half, right? And I said, then we had the goal line stand at the end of the game, and it just kind of turned the whole season around for the Giants, big time. But, as I said, we lost, we lost 45-35. We didn't get shut out by the Cowboys, But, we gave up a bunch of yards, a bunch of points and all, and things weren't looking very good either. But we had that one goal line stand, and it really turned things around, big time. So we started off 0-2 and wound up 10-6. So that means we won 10 of our next 14 games. So, thankfully, there's 16 more games. It's hard to really get too much. I mean, the one thing, if you can also bring, are the Cowboys better than the Giants? Sure. Are they 40 points better? Absolutely not. I mean, as I said, pretty much everything that could have gone wrong last night went wrong for the Giants. It's, but also the other thing, one thing you can take into account, and feel good about is that especially when we play the Eagles and we play the Cowboys, what's our problem? They got a lot of speed. We had speed too, but it's in the trenches. The trenches. The Eagles last year ran all over us. Why? Their offensive line. The trenches, right? The Dallas Cowboys, the pressures, the sacks, the hits, all of this stuff. Well, from what? The trenches, right? The defensive line. And obviously, Micah Parsons helps too. But, to be the best, to beat the best, whatever, you those trenches are really, really important. Now, I'm not exactly sure what they're, what they're wanting to do. It's going to be interesting to see as the season goes along. I mean, if Evan Neal keeps struggling, when are we going to maybe thinking about moving him inside? Especially, Glowinski looked. He was horrible. I'm dying. PFF, they got the grades out. I haven't looked at it, but I'm dying to see what Glowinski's grade is for last night. I mean, it was horrible. But I mean, if we're not going to keep Glowinski after this season, do we, move Evan Neal on the inside? It's kind of, he's a 6'7" guard would be that's kind of big. I mean, he's got the weight and all that for it and everything, but but it might work out to his advantage because now he's more in a phone booth kind of thing. I mean, he doesn't have to backpedal, as somebody burns him going around the edge, or he's backpedaling real fast, trying to get back, and then the guy puts a move on him and beats him to the inside. You know what I mean? So at least if he's in the guard position, he doesn't have to, he's a little more in a phone booth. It doesn't maybe have as much real estate to worry about. That might be the ticket for him. And where I know for Eric Flowers, I mean, when I don't know if he they moved him in the guard when he was with Washington or he was with Miami. I don't remember, but he didn't do too bad. I mean, obviously he wasn't a all pro bowler, not like that, but I mean, he did okay. He did better than he did at tackle anyway. He was certainly never a first round pick, but they moved him inside. And he got a little bit better. Now, can we do the same thing with Evan Neal? I mean, if he keeps struggling, obviously this is just one game, right? We'll have to wait and see. But we got some tough games coming up. I mean, if you saw San Fran, boy, they really look good. I mean, you don't go into Pittsburgh and beat Pittsburgh 30-7 in Pittsburgh. You just don't do that. That don't happen. And they really, and Pittsburgh they just didn't. Their offense just does not look very good. But I mean, the 49ers, that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be a challenge too. So, we got a bunch of tough games coming up. we got a lot of good defenses coming up. Obviously Buffalo and the Jets and Miami, man, they Tyreek Hill, but what a freak that guy is, Tyreek Hill. So I said, we got a lot of tough games coming up. So, and I said with Evan Neal, what's going to happen with him? But I mean, it just goes to show, we got some issues in the trenches. One thing I do know is that if you got yourself, died loyal to the big blue, I do know, if you got a real good offensive line coach, that can make all the difference. Like the Eagle, I can never remember the freaking guy's name. He's a real good offensive line coach, and they're almost like a freaking factory there. They just one offensive lineman after the other. I can never remember the guy's name, but he's real good. If you can ever get yourself a real good offensive line coach, that dude's worth his weight in gold. But I'm not impressed with the guy we have here. I'm not impressed at all. Not impressed at all with him. I mean, it just seems, I don't know. When's the point in time, you gotta. The problem is that, see, now we're in the middle of the season, right? So, how often does it happen? I mean, like, say so-and-so at Idaho State. He's a great offensive line coach, but you're halfway through the season. I mean, even if the guy, you're going to be able to get him to come from Idaho State to the Giants halfway through the season and leave them flat. I mean, in the middle of the season, get it. So then you have to, if that doesn't happen, then you have to find somebody who's unemployed, who might be a good offensive line coach, or who might want to come out of retirement. That's a good offensive line coach. Well, good luck there, right? Joe, yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, they were good. So now you got to find somebody who's out of a job. I mean, how many good offensive line coaches are out of a job? Not too many. So it's going to be tough to do in the middle of the season, and you just hate to have a season go down the dumper. Because of your offensive line, but somewhere along the, it's just one game. It was raining out. Everything went wrong for the Giants, this, that, and the other thing. So it's, without jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge, it's just one game. And it's Dable says it's a very humbling league. 1 week, a lot of it. Sometimes it's matchups too. That's why sometimes you can get a team that stinks, always gives another team that's good, a hard time. The Cowboys always seem to always have a hard time with the Cowboys. That guy named John Madden was pretty good. Yeah, So it's matchups. It's week to week. 1 week you can look, 1 week you can look horrible. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, the Giants, they stunk." So so when the betting line comes out, "Oh, I'm betting against the Giants. They lost 40-0. They stink." But then the next week, right, the Giants are maybe 3-point dogs this week, going and playing the Cardinals or whatever it is. Oh, I'm picking the Cardinals. They only lost by 4 points on the road to the Commanders. Meanwhile, the Giants at home lost by 40 points. I'm picking the Cardinals, and then then the Giants wind up winning the game. So it's week to week. Yeah, it's you learn from it. You live with it. You learn from it. You just move on. That's what. But also Dable says that too. You can't get too high. If they won 40-0, it's just one game. We're 1-0. We won 40-0, but that game's over with. We got to move on. It's just one game. Because we won 40-0 doesn't mean we got 3 wins out of it. We got 1 win. Whether we won 41-40 or whether we won 40-0, it's 1 win. So this is just 1 loss. Whether they lost 100-0 or 7-6, it's just 1 loss. So you live from it, you learn, all that, and you move on. But the other thing too, which is nice, if you want to look at it, it's an eye opener. The guys in there, they got, we better bring our big boy pants or we're going to start getting our butts handed to us. So, if you're going to get an embarrassment, do this, have it get it done out of the way with and all that and move forward. So maybe this might be the best thing that ever happened to the Giants this season. Who knows? But, also goes go back to the thing where some people were saying that, there's a chance the Giants can have a better team but not have a better result than last year. That's true too. This season is good there. Oh yeah. So it'll be interesting to see like Wednesday, because that's when the injury report comes out. Graham Gano gets cleated, stepped on his foot, and Andrew Thomas. Because now you start thinking, right? We got guys on the practice squad, but I forgot what that was. Parrott's elbow, I think it was. He got injured. They had to shift the Zudu out there. So now we might have to go, if Andrew Thomas with a hamstring and Parrott can't play, Scott Norwell's out there and Justin Pugh's out there. I've seen that in a couple of the groups. Interestingly enough, obviously we drafted Pugh, but Dave Gettleman, ding, 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 he drafted Scott Norwell. Now, Norwell's kind of getting up there a little bit in age and all that, but I'll tell you what, Norwell had some pretty good years early on. I just don't know if there's anybody out there they bring in and that can really help the Giants out at all. Well, it is what it is. 0-1. So 4:30 it is against the Cardinals. So hopefully we can rebound because, this is a big game coming up though too. Because if we lose here, right, and then we on a short week, we got to play the 49ers, and we can't get too far behind the 8 ball because the schedule doesn't really get much easier going forward. This is a big game going forward because if we lose here, we're staring right 0-3 right in the face. So let's hope we can regroup. At least we know when we play in the Cardinals, it won't be raining out, right? And Kyler Murray's not supposed to be playing, so they'll have their backup quarterback. They didn't really look that great. I think they had a defense. I was watching the game. I was trying to watch all the games at the 1 o'clock games. They had a defensive touchdown They only scored 16 points. So I think they kicked like 3 field goals. So their offense really was nothing super spectacular. The Redskins, I keep saying the Redskins, the Commanders' offense really wasn't looking really super spectacular. That was kind of, it was kind of a tough game to watch. But I mean, so the Cardinals don't look that impressive, but that doesn't certainly mean the Giants are going to win. But if the Giants, if there's a get feel right game, this is it coming up, right? Because, like I said, if we go 0-2, we're staring 0-3 right in the face. Well, it's funny that Aaron Rodgers is the first victim. Yeah, there you go. Huh? Yeah. We'll have to wait and see how bad he is. What I read that I think it was on ESPN. I keep getting these notifications. I think the X-ray came back negative, so that's cool, good, because you don't want nobody getting injured. But it said he wasn't going to return for the game, so we'll have to wait and see. What's going on. But it's a big win for the Jets. First game of the season at home against the Bills. Big win. Big win. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. But all right, well, we'll be back again tomorrow. So tomorrow night, I'm going to go. I'll find whatever, some more stuff to talk about. But I'll also find I'm going to go to a PFF and I'll find the team and player grades. Dying to see what PFF has to, because PFF doesn't usually show the Giants any love. So I'm sure the Giants are going to get some really bad scores from PFF. So, all right, Jersey guys. Well, whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.